Hey there, Andrea here. I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm so excited because today I highlighted an awesome book, and it's such a great book because it has so many usable tips and actionable advice, and I even created a worksheet on it. So I'm so excited to share this book with you. And by the way, if this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is where I highlight books in 15 minutes or less. I try to do it within 15 minutes, but I try to suck out as much information as possible. But as you know, if something sparks your interest, I highly recommend that you go out, support the author, and purchase the book because there's so much information in these books. So I try to suck out some actionable things for you to apply to your life right away. But if something does spark your interest, please go ahead and do that. Go and check out the book and support your local bookstore or go to the library. All right, so get ready. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to change your life entirely and basically feel like you're not working? Doesn't that sound so appealing? Anyway, so this book that I highlighted is called Crush It. It's Why Now is the Time to Cash In on Your Passion by Gary Vaynerchuk. This book is so inspirational, and I have so many people that I found out that are listening that are coaches, entrepreneurs, or they do things as a side hustle with the hope that eventually they can leave their daytime job. So I thought this was a great book, and it might resonate with a lot of you, and it really sparked my interest. So again, Crush It, Why Now is the Time to Cash In on Your Passion, and it's by Gary Vaynerchuk. Of course, all the links to the books and everything are at my website, the show notes, everything, the summary, the worksheet. So if you ever want more, just go to andreaseydel.com for more information. Okay, so let's jump in. So do you wish that you could combine your passion with business? Or perhaps you have a hobby that you're so obsessed with and that you just wish that you could indulge in that hobby all the time. So Gary Vaynerchuk, he teaches us why now is the perfect time to do that, to take your passion and make a living at doing what you love. And this is so profound. So it's almost like as soon as you tap into that passion and as soon as you tap into that doing what you love and what you would wake up doing, even if money didn't matter, it's amazing how you can turn that into a business or a career for yourself. So I thought that was really, really powerful. And it's kind of what I'm doing with this podcast because, as you know, I'm addicted to reading. Even, if it didn't matter, if I didn't have people downloading and supporting the podcast, I'd still be reading all these books and I still would be doing my cute little mind maps and I would be writing out all my takeaways and learning. So this is something that's just a little bit of an obsession for me, and it's a passion. And it's funny because as soon as I was able to put it into the form of a podcast, it really took off. And it's so funny that the things that actually are our hobbies and the things that actually bring us so much pleasure is the very thing that we can now, and he calls it in his book, cash in on it, cash in on our passion, make it part of our business. And he believes that the money will follow. So get ready to discover how to use the power of the internet to turn your real interest into a real business. So find out just step by step. His book, Crush It, really does take us step by step, and it allows us to, basically what it is it's like a driver's manual or a manual for modern day business, right? Because now that we have the internet, there's so many possibilities out there. Okay, so he talked first about passion and how passion is everything. I'm sure you've heard that before, but it's really about you being willing to do whatever it takes to change your life so you can live on your own terms. So it's basically shifting your thinking to, okay, well, maybe I can really create a business out of my passion, and that passion really is everything. He talks about passion driving everything that you do, and that it's really going to create a momentum for you when you have this passion. And so he talks about that we live in an age with so much opportunity and so much ability to reach lots and lots of people. And so what he's talking about is that there needs to be a hustle involved and patience and your ability to dream big and believe that what it is you're passionate about, you can turn into a business. So he talked about 3 rules, which I thought was really, really special. And the 3 rules that he talked about to live by are: love your family, work super hard, and live your passion. And that is something that I definitely personally live my life by. And my family is so important to me, and quality time with my family. And also I work really, really hard. And, it's really important to have that. I hate using the word hustle because it has kind of a negative connotation, but it's amazing how much motivation you can find when you're doing things that you love. I mean, if I was just sitting there and I'm like, okay, what should I do now? I'd be reading these books. I'm reading books. I'm making trips to, the library, the bookstore, Amazon. And so it's really interesting how motivation comes behind that. And the hustle actually doesn't feel like hustle. It just feels like, you're pushing forward and moving forward. It's exciting. So I love his 3 rules to live by. And he also talked about measuring your success based on how happy you are. And this is something I totally do. I only do things that make me feel happy. And yes, of course, there's going to be certain things that, are not as pleasurable for me to do. If I can't outsource them, I try to convince myself, or set a timer or finish those things. Obviously, there's things in our life that we have to do that don't necessarily make us happy. But I think his real message here is that measure your success based on your overall subjective well-being. So base your success on how good you feel and how, and not how big your business is necessarily or how much money you're making. I love that because it's really essential, and it's so true. Like ultimately what it comes down to is our feeling of well-being, subjective well-being. We feel good about what we're doing. We're excited to get up in the morning and get out of bed. So really, really huge. All right. So he wants us to learn to live our passion, and basically the money will follow. He believes that it's like, it's like we're taking control over our destiny when we allow our passion to become part of our business. And so that's what he talked about a lot within his book. And then also that passion is contagious. And it's so true, right? Like, it's so funny if you think about someone talking about something that they're so excited about and you're like looking at them, they're just going on and on. It's like, wow, like you light up when you talk about that. So think about that. What is it that, if you're talking about it, you get so excited that maybe your voice talks a little bit quicker, or you talk a little bit quicker, or maybe you get a little more excited. There's enthusiasm behind it. And so that enthusiasm is actually contagious. So that passion is contagious. And if you channel it in a creative way and you create amazing content and you can distribute that content to the world, then it's going to be contagious. It's going to catch on. And there's so many social media tools that he's talking about that we can basically rock our business by doing something that we're really passionate about, because that passion is contagious. So if you have a passion, it's going to drive you, it's going to make you productive. And he says that the money will follow. And it's amazing that even with my book club, it's so funny because now I actually do my book club, my unconventional book club for organizations. So it's a value-added program. They have me come and I host these book clubs. And what I do is I highlight books that are sort of really relevant to their organization. And so people don't have to read it, but I highlight the concepts. I teach it. It's just like this podcast. But I never thought that that's where my business would go. And that's actually a really great form of revenue for me now, which is surprising, right? But it's my passion. All right. So that's wonderful. So it's great. So passion is everything. And that's what he's talking about. He's also talked about within his book, the successes in your DNA. So if you're looking for something to, take to the internet, to launch a business, to create a signature program, or to figure out your brand, the secret to your success is looking at your DNA. So what is it that, nobody else has your DNA. So what is it about you that is unique? And because you have something special that you bring to the table, and your DNA enables you to take your career to the next level. real. That's what's going to differentiate you from anybody else. There's nobody else like you in this world. And I think they say like a snowflake, right? There's no one snowflake the same. Same with our DNA. Our DNA is unique to us. So we bring something different to the table. So the success is looking at your DNA and being true to who you really, really are. So if you're doing what you love more than anything else in the world, you're basically you're successful, right? You got to think about what it is, you know, that feeling that you were born to do, that really allows you to feel like it's your own personal brand, right? And so that is the secret. It's the secret to success is looking at your DNA and what makes you and equity. And so what it is about like really looking at what it is that sets you apart. So what it is that sets you apart. So whether you are delivering content through video, through podcast or blogs, it has to be the authentic you. And that's essential because if you try to be something you're not going to have that passion behind it. And you're not going to have that contagion. And it's not going to be real and feel authentic to the people that are, you know, listening to you, watching you, reading your content. So it's really important to tap into your DNA. And this is what he was talking about, you know, whether you're whatever way you're delivering your content through video, podcast, blog, you want to make sure that it's authentically you, that it's a guaranteed differentiator. So it's basically guaranteeing you success when you tap into that DNA. So, you know, you might share a niche with another business or other companies and other business models, but the secret is to not copy, it's to stay true to your DNA, and then you'll be successful. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of one time at my yoga studio. I went down and I went to another yoga studio, and I like to experience other people's studios at the time when I had it, just so I could see what they were all like. And the studio had this gorgeous, like, ledge of begonias under their window. And I thought, oh my gosh, that looks so good. I came back and I did that at my studio. And it's funny because every single one of those begonias died. And I've got a green thumb, but every single one of them died like 2 weeks later. And I remember thinking to myself, it's because I copied. It's totally because I copied. Anyway, I thought that was a funny side story there for you. So again, building your brand is like having your resume, is what he said. So it's basically, it's your resume every second that you're working. It's like building, it's your own personal brand. Your DNA is what makes up you. So he's talking about building your empire out of being who you are and never change that. So basically build your empire out of, you know, your DNA. So build that brand equity, build up that, you know, being honest, true self, and don't back down from that is what he's saying. So consumers, they basically want you to tell the truth and to be real, because everyone can tell when something's not quite authentic. And I know you know that. All right. So no matter what, he's talking about being your true colors and honesty and connecting to your DNA. So the bottom line is embrace your DNA, be yourself, create your own brand, not a brand copying someone else because they might be successful or wow, they did it, so it must work. So just put out your own awesome content and people will be interested as long as it's, you know, authentically you. And it's, you know, it's all about what it is that's making you tick and excited, right? And I think one of the examples he used, I'm not sure if it's in this book or another book, was if you like are obsessed with like fishing lures, then you could basically create a YouTube channel all on the best fishing lures and talk about them and why you like this one and how you, and so you expanded on that and say, then you never know, you start getting a following because there's other people that want to learn about fishing lures. And then if you're excited about it, they're going to enjoy listening to you talking about it, fishing lures. And then the funny part is that you'll probably end up getting later a sponsorship or an affiliation with lure companies or like boat companies and things like that. So again, his message is that you can cash in on your passion, but the first part is to build your brand equity, to tap into what it is that's special to you, and then to take it online and the internet through blogs, video, social, any sort of social connections with other people, building community. And yeah, so isn't that amazing? I thought that was so great. So that's the key so far within this book, so we can just crush it. All right. So he then talked about a whole new world and how platforms are really changing. So we're moving from, as you can tell, from magazines, newspapers, and things like that, television, to more the internet. So it's the idea is that where the eyeballs go, money will flow. And that was his quote. And it's all about if you build your personal brand and then also plan for the future. So you're building your own platform and you're utilizing the newer platforms and you're changing with the times, then you will be successful and you'll have that huge opportunity to crush it. All right. So then he talked about creating amazing content, like great content. And so to monetize your brand into a business, he talks about using social marketing networks and it kind of rests, he talked about it resting on two pillars, your products and your content. So what it is that you have to offer and what it is, what value and content you're providing for people. So then he talked about how you can earn money by talking about something you're crazy about, and that really, the great content will come from that DNA or that your backbone of what it is that you're passionate about. And then it will lead to fantastic, wonderful ways to monetize. Great content he's talking about is the key to engaging and building a community. So in other words, know your stuff. So passion and expertise is essential for great content. So yes, you want to be passionate about something, but you also want to gain knowledge and become more of an expert and have expertise on it because people will listen to you, right? And that's why within this show too, I try to draw on my psychology background and try to draw on my life coaching. So for this unconventional book club, I can really tie it all together and I can add more value to these book highlights for you. Okay, so know your stuff, and really that's what's going to differentiate you. So combine your passion, your expertise together and create great content. So that's a differentiator that he talked about. And know your niche. So know who it is that you're talking to. So show your niche or your listeners your DNA. So one of the analogies he used is a lure and a lasso, and that if you create great content and you post it, it allows people to come to you. And then the lasso is through commenting and connecting and getting into the trenches of your community and building conversations and sparking interest in other people that they may come and see what it is that you have to offer as well. So reasons for your audience to come to you is great content that's full of value. So the bottom line is that he talked about is know yourself. So choose the right medium that works for you. So podcast, blog, video, of course, a website, and then choose the right topic. So what it is that you're really passionate about. What would you be talking about? And what do you talk about all the time? So create that awesome content and then you'll make lots of money, he says, and you'll be happy because you're doing what it is that you love. So that is basically it. Now I am leaving something out here. So he did have a crush it checklist. Crush it checklist. Say that fast 5 times. It's gonna be hard. Okay. Crush it checklist. And I am going to put that in my worksheets at my website. So again, I don't want to use up too much of your time here and it's just like a checklist. So there's so many amazing tips, like even sites to go to help spread your word and like suggestions and things like that and creating Facebook fan pages and all these things. So that checklist I have included in a worksheet on my website at andreaseydel.com. So you can go to the website, you can print that free PDF, and all you have to do is go over there to my website in order to get that. Okay, so The summary, crush it. Why now is the time to cash in on your passion. So my main takeaway is that it's very powerful to turn your passion or your hobby into a business that is so fun, and you're going to love it and you're going to be happy. And it's the perfect time to do that. He is basically saying that we have access to a platform and the internet and the power of the internet in order to really cash in on our passion. But the secret is to connect to your DNA, connect to, your own personal brand, build your own personal brand, and then get out there and get into the trenches, communicate with people, build a network. And then again, affiliation and all those wonderful things you can then promote your programs and all these things. So this book was like a modern day manual on how to turn your passion into a business and love every day that you are working. Oh my gosh, isn't that awesome? We all want that. Well, I hope that's super helpful for you. I hope you loved it. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fantastic, wonderful day.